Welcome to another episode of the Goo Intelligence Sports Podcast Show. This week I'm back after week 2 of the preseason where the New Orleans Saints took on the LA Chargers during a hurricane. And the NFL made them play the game. That's kind of wild. But needless to say, the Saints won the game after having some two practices, I guess 2 practices, joint practices with the LA Chargers. NFL still made them play. Which is kind of just weird, being that a hurricane was bearing down on Southern California. But that's kind of crazy. I thought Tony said it never rains in Southern California. Guess that's kind of corny. But anyway, so the Saints got down to business. From what I hear, the Saints kicked the LA Chargers' ass in practices. And it wasn't that much difference in the game. They kicked their ass during the game as well. Jameis Winston played fairly decent, being that he was playing with a whole bunch of twos. The Saints set a whole lot of starters this weekend, being that they've already had 2 practices, right, with the LA Chargers, get some good work in. They didn't necessarily need to see any ones playing this weekend. The ones, you know who's going to make the teams. It's up to these 2s, 3s, and 4s to either good tape on the on film, so other teams may have a chance, or take a look at them to see what they have to offer, or they still may be in the running for a backup position, and that's good for the Saints to see where their second stringers and third stringers lie at, to see if they need to maybe scour the free agent market themselves to see if they can get better at certain positions, or if they have the right stuff and the right people in the right places. The Saints, with Jameis, like I said, Jameis looked pretty good this weekend. He finished 13 for 21 for 169, no touchdowns and no interceptions. That's the big one. No interceptions. Jameis throw it to you now. He'll throw you the ball if he finished 30 for 30. He'll give it to you. But anyway, no quarterback threw for a touchdown or interception for the Saints. We had Jake Hayner, the rookie from Fresno State, come in and be serviceable. He led a couple drives, that Saints scored on. Jameis Winston also led some scoring drives. But I was eager to see how the Saints would respond to a playoff team, perhaps, right? And we had one with the Kansas City Chiefs, and that was the first preseason game. But not too many people ever played at ones for a couple series. But this one, I was eager to see how the Saints played in LA. But against the Chargers. But once again, no one really played their ones. The quarterback for the LA Chargers was Eason Stick. He played the entire game. So we did not see Justin Herbert in this game. For the same reason that the Saints set their ones. I would assume LA Chargers did the same thing. They had already got the good work done with the joint practices, so there was really no need to risk injury by playing these players in the in the second preseason game. So it was good to see some of the Saints. I'll tell you some of the Saints that stood out to me by watching on broadcast television. Shaq Davis played pretty well at wide receiver. A.T. Perry continued his good play. Kendre Miller played fantastic. And I thought they were going to set him. I believe he got injured. He hurt his knee, right? They say he hurt his knee. The same knee that he hurt at TCU in the first game. And here it is, 7 days later, he's catching a touchdown pass and running one in. So I don't think the Saints are going to miss that. Honestly, I do not think the Saints are going to miss Alvin Kamara for the first 3 weeks. From what I can see between Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller, they are going to be serviceable for those first 3 games until we get Alvin back. And that's pretty good. So no disrespect to who we had.
Who else was in that? Ellis Merriweather. Yeah, go ahead and count your days, brother. Darrell Williams, he is a Super Bowl champion, but hey, man, I don't think we're going to need you either, dog. Thanks for coming out. God bless and good night. And Brian Edwards killed 2 touchdown plays with picks. Now, I'm sure that was play design, so I'm not going to necessarily fault him, but it's how you run the play. The design of the play is to get a natural pick, but it's to come while you're running your route, not necessarily looking for the defender and chipping him while in the route. No, just run your route, man. And here I am trying to tell this guy who's played football probably all his life on how to execute the play, right? It's crazy. But anyway, I mean, he didn't do it, so obviously somebody needs to tell him, right? And I'm sure this isn't the first time that he's run pick plays and as a wide receiver, but you just got to make it look a little bit more inconspicuous. You know, don't make it look so damn deliberate. But he did it twice in the same drive. I think Brian Edwards has probably seen his last days as a Saint. They brought him in because he had rapport with Derek Carr, but man, look like A.T. Perry about to get your job. Defensively, for the Saints. Defensively, the Saints looked pretty good. To say that they had a whole bunch of rookies and number 2s and number 3 stringers player. Brian Bresee, the first-round draft pick from Clemson, got a fumble recovery. We had a couple other rookies step in and play well on defense. And we had a play on 4th down later on in the game where the Saints, it was 4th and 23 or something, and the Saints gave up a 39-yard play. Hey, man, if I'm the head coach, look, we get a whole new 11. Right after that, a whole new 11 players are coming in. Because that 11 players, look, man, I'd have had, look, the other 11 players that allowed that, you might need to go and, you know, this not the team for you. You might need to do something, find a new career, do something different, maybe go into coaching, you know, because those who can't play coach, that's what they say. You know, I ain't make that up. So you ain't hear that from me, you know. But anyway, so I was glad to see the Saints get a win through a hurricane since the NFL made them play the game. You know, this week, the Saints are going to have a home game on a Sunday again. And this week, who do the Saints play this week? The Saints play this week. The Saints will play the Houston Texans on Sunday at 7 p.m. So it's a 7 p.m. game. Also, I believe the Saints have canceled their joint practices with the Houston Texans. So I honestly don't think we will see any starters in this last preseason game. The Saints, I believe, have turned their attention to the Tennessee Titans in week 1. So we'll see if the Saints continue to make improvements this week. I think they've gotten better since the Chiefs game, and they improved upon that in the Chargers game, from what I hear. And we'll continue to see what they do against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are not setting the world on fire. Plus, I believe this is going to be mostly 2s and 3s from both teams, just trying to make the team or get good film on tape, you know. If this is your first time checking me out, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I do mostly Saints videos, but I will be branching out to do the middleweight unification bout that's coming up between Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez. So thank you to everybody that watched the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.